In this lesson, we're going to talk about the wrap feature. I hope you still have your engine assembly open. If you don't, reopen it. You can go back to the File menu and retrieve it from the list of recent files. When you've got that open, click on the part on the bottom. This should be the oil pan, or it may just be called wrap. Click the open part icon. You can see that this already has a couple of features on it, and if we slide to the bottom of the tree, there are two wrap features already on this part. I'm going to create a third one where we'll wrap some more text on here. First, we need to find a plane to sketch on. And if we look at this, I think the top plane will be just fine. The plane that you sketch on has to be either tangent to the surface that you want to wrap onto or parallel to a plane that would be tangent to that surface. So this plane will be just fine. I'll open a sketch here and get it oriented correctly. That's Shift arrow twice, and then I'll use Alt arrow to spin this around and Control arrow to pan. Now what I want to create on here is some sketch text, and I don't have that on my toolbar, so I'm going to go to Tools, Customize, Commands, Sketch, and select the sketch text icon. Now I'm going to put it up here onto my Features toolbar, which is not the correct place for that icon. Should be over here on the Sketch toolbar. But my sketch toolbar is too short, as you can see, and this will allow me to access the sketch text much more easily than putting it on my sketch toolbar. Now I can X out of the Customize dialog, and within this sketch, I'm going to create a arc. Make the arc go almost all the way across the bottom surface, and I'm going to convert that arc to construction geometry. And now click on the sketch text icon to get started. Because that arc was already selected, it has gone into the curves selection box. So make sure that you get your arc to show up in this selection box. Now in the text box, start entering your text. In this case, I'm just going to say made in USA by your name. First thing that you can see is that the text is far too small, and you may be able to see that the text is on the wrong side of the arc. So we can flip the side of the arc and then use justification to spread the text out over that arc. Where you have your name in here, you should put your own name in and not the words your name. And so your text will probably be different in size from mine. But let's go ahead and try to establish a size for the text. Turn off the Use Document Font option, and then click the Font button. You can use any font you want for sketch text, although there are some characters in some fonts that will cause problems. Regardless of anything else, you're going to have to follow all the rules for sketches, such as overlapping entities and multiple regions and things like this. If you try to use a fancy font and you find that it doesn't extrude very well, you may need to get in close with each character and make sure that the characters don't overlap and that all of the lines within the characters are clean. So I'm going to change the units. In this case, let's see, I'll make it 0.25. Next, I want to put something in bold here, but I don't want to use the entire text in bold. So I'm just going to grab the letters USA, then click on the bold icon. Notice how that just bolds those three letters. If you want to bold the entire thing, you have to select all of the text and then hit bold. There are several things that you can do through the Sketch Text tool. You can connect it to a part property. You can use bold, italics. You can rotate individual letters. So I can grab these two BY and rotate them by 30 degrees. You can change that value by changing the text. and notice what the effect is on the sketch text. You can use various types of justification, flip the text to one side of the line or the other. You can make it read backwards. You can change the width of individual letters, and you can change the spacing between the letters, as well as changing the font and everything that goes with that. So let's click OK to accept. Just be aware that when you use the fancier options, you're more likely to get some sort of overlap in your sketch. So if you zoom in, you can see how clean the letters are here. But on some fonts, you may find overlaps of various types. Also, notice there's a reason why I changed the arc to a construction arc. That's because it wouldn't work very well with the sketch text to create a solid feature. Now let's extrude the sketch text. But we're not going to use the extrude tool because we need to extrude from a surface, and we don't want to project this down onto the surface. We want to actually wrap it. So let's go to the Insert, Features, Wrap. It's grayed out because we're still in the sketch. We'll exit the sketch, Insert, Features, Wrap. Read the message, usually has helpful information. Now we need to click on the sketch. I'll describe for you the options here. Emboss means to add material, such as this previous wrap, that added material. Deboss is to remove material, such as these circles were wrapped on and debossed, so that removed material. And then scribe just means to split the face using the sketch, similar to the split curve. Next, we need to select a face to emboss on. Let's select this cylindrical face. Notice that it may take some time. And if you write a whole paragraph using sketch text, it's going to take a very long time. Sketch text is one of the most time-consuming features that's available within SOLIDWORKS. Instead of 0.1 inch, let's be a little more realistic. Make that 0.01. And then pull direction. Let's make this without the pull direction first, and then we'll come back and add a pull direction. When you're satisfied with this, click on OK. Just as a warning, if your text wraps around too far and starts going off of the selected face, you may get some errors. So what you need to do is to go back and edit your text so that it all fits onto the same face. Okay, now we can zoom in here and see what's happened. Notice that the extrude direction is always perpendicular to the face. And if we come around to the middle of this, we see that even here it's perpendicular to the face, and then down here, this edge is still perpendicular to the face, even though the face has changed directions. If you were going to cast this or mold it, that might present some difficulties. Let's go back and edit the definition of the wrap. And in here, we're going to use one of our XYZ axes in order to establish a pull direction. So let's see which one we need. Probably the Y is going to be the correct one. Now we've established a pull direction, and if we come back in here, now you see that the edge is no longer perpendicular to the face. Now it's parallel to the pull direction. The SOLIDWORKS wrap feature does not have an option to create draft. If you want to draft these features, you're going to have to do what we've just done, which was establish a direction of pull, and then you'll have to go in with the draft feature using parting line option, establish the direction of pull, again with the Y-axis, and then select all of the edges that go around each letter in each word. And that may take some time. But this is how the wrap feature works.